The All Smiling Faces podcast is now sponsored by Tyre Spot, the Northeast's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. Tyre Spot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Always Smiling Faces podcast on the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel. Once again, it's all four of us, myself, Bestie, and Degger, and Mark. And Degger, we're going to come to you, first of all, as usual. Well, as usual this season. And say the magic words.
We won, you know.
Get in.
Get in there.
Degger,
Twice, really. I should
say it again.
We won, you know.
Get in. 2 games in a row, 5 games in a row. Newcastle have grabbed all 3 points. Bestie, what shall we do with this episode? Let's not cover each game as
right.
Break down each game because we'll be here all night.
Yeah.
Okay. Because obviously we've got the West Ham game and the
Is that not why we came early? Like,
that is not why we came early. So if anybody's got any questions, fire them our way. We'll go through a couple of talking points which I've got. But Bestie,
hello,
coming to you.
Yes.
West Ham game.
Mm-hmm.
Newcastle ran riot in the capital.
Well, scored 5 goals, but they didn't.
Goals wise. Let's not turn it negative. No,
he's off already.
It's a happy week.
Yeah, me.
No, something I had in mind from last week was when we said, I think 6 wins will do it. Mark's going, where are you getting 6 wins from? It's 4 now, Mark.
I honestly didn't expect. Well, at the weekend anyway, I didn't expect.
The Brentford.
That was the tough game for me. Like,
but West Ham.
That's skipping ahead a few days.
We'll come to Chris. We'll talk about West Ham again, Mark. I thought they were pretty poor for the most part. Obviously, Bruno hit his own post early on
in the first 10 minutes.
What's the word? Clinical.
Ruthless.
When Wilson got that first one, and then lovely work by Maxi to get the ball in. Got the second one pretty soon afterwards, and then kind of got pinned back a bit. They scored in the first half, and then again in the second half. I mean, pretty much all of our goals came from defensive errors in that one. The thing with Fabianski when it came out at Isak's goal, which was really well taken.
Yeah.
The one where Murphy caught him again. Good work by Murphy to catch him high up the pitch, but awful defended by West Ham. The offside where Joe Linton's just gone like, I'm going to run between you here. And they've gone,
how good was that pass from Shea?
Brilliant. It was a brilliant run as well, but it's shocking. All the goals were, from our point of view, good. Yeah. But if you concede any one of those goals, you think, this is dreadful.
What I do want to highlight, though, Bestie, is that we sat here after the World Cup break and said that we're struggling to score goals.
Yeah.
We're back to how we were before the World Cup.
It's clinical. Wilson's come back and obviously scored against Brentford. Hang on. Did he get one, or was it just one disallowed?
Disallowed for Brentford. Scored 2 for West Ham.
2 against West Ham, that's right, because he always scores against West Ham. And the one against Brentford was not wrong one for me, to be honest with you. But yeah, Wilson's come back and he looks sharp. I think the rest, even like international breaks, having that couple of weeks off, being on the bench for a little while, he's not getting a run out and we're starting to rotate them more. You know what? We started 1 each. Obviously, Isaac came on for the second half against Brentford on Saturday there. But yeah, scoring goals again, looking dangerous, and as I say, but it's clinical, which maybe haven't been for a little while. We've sat here and talked about missed chances and the difference that's made at Man City was one that really comes to mind for me at Wembley. But yeah, just against West Ham, it felt like every chance that they had.
Which is lovely.
It was great. It was really good, and it's kind of what we want. We've said for a while that I think you've been saying for a while, Mark. At some point, we're gonna do that to somebody.
But it's been like you say, it's
been
when you look at the games, it's been coming because when you consider how many chances we've created in games and just haven't been able to be clinical in front of goal and put them away, it's been bubbling away there. A bit of a worry that we haven't been able to take them then. But you think you're getting in all the right positions. The keeper's pulling off great saves. Some maybe some poor finishing and stuff like that. But it's over the last week, it's just clicked.
Yeah.
I think it's like if you're drawn 0-0 or whatever, and you're losing 1-0, and you've never tested the goalkeeper, that's when you should be worried. You know, you should be going, God, we never looked like scoring, did we? You know what I mean? Whereas that's been the opposite. Well, you know, not go so long ago, we were going, oh Christ, we've had 6-7 chances here and we haven't scored. Okay, it's bad. That isn't great, but at least we're creating them. And obviously now we're going through that run where I'm sure we absolutely battered someone at home. I mean, Villa, where everything we hit went in. It was like
Brentford, wasn't it? Brentford
Brentford beat 5-1.
yeah.
Like, it was like, Nicky was just banging them in from away. And it was just one of them where everything you seem to hit goes in, but you've just got to keep doing what you do, getting in the positions to score a goal, and eventually you hope that you'll eventually score goals, and obviously that's what's been happening. But I know a lot of people have said about the West Ham game. I know I was in the pub watching it, but I didn't think we were that bad. Like I'm not saying we're 5-1.
How many pints of Guinness did you have?
Quite a lot.
There you go. There's the reason.
Nearly as many as the goals. But
no, I thought it was quite poor.
I thought the first half against Brentford was poor. That's what our class is.
Yeah,
poor.
that was.
I didn't
poor.
think anything in the West Ham was just poor as that.
Really bad at the back. That second penalty, Botman, like kind of it's outrageous. And the way he leaves Schaefer dust on the right hand side as well beforehand.
Oh, you mean the Brentford? Sorry, yes. That's what I was meaning. Like that was poor. Whereas I didn't think West Ham was.
I thought Packett, Bowen, and there was another central midfielder. I thought ran it.
Price.
The first half, Declan Rice, yeah, of course. I thought the first half they were excellent, but they had nothing else. That Antonio was poor. The goal came from a set piece where Antonio's blocked, pulled off, and Zuma's got not Zuma. That was Kurt Zuma. The back.
It was Zuma, yeah.
But I thought
Botman fell asleep on that one as well.
Apart from Packett, Rice, and Bowen, I thought West Ham were appalling. But I thought we were pretty poor as well. But again, I'd say clinical. I'm not going to sit here and complain because we won 5-1. You know what I mean? And I thought Wilson took his goals well. Joe Linton. You know, when he goes down the goalkeeper, I'm thinking, oh, God, he's going to fall over or something because he's going to
He did fall over.
He's going to kick off his own head again or something. But he puts it away lovely. And then the goals in the second half, Isaac takes his lovely. Murphy does brilliantly just to spot the kind of time the ball to Wilson. Wilson's got an open goal, you know what I mean? And then Joe Linton's second one's a great goal.
The passage of play for where Murphy has that shot is one of the most beautiful passages of play. That pass from Longstaff, Maxi did a nice little flick on, and then you think, is he going to go himself? He then passes on again. Yeah. If it had been slightly heavier, it would have then went on to his right foot, where maybe then he might have fancied him better. But the move itself was just wonderful.
That all came from Botman kind of under hitting the pass at the back or hitting it behind Trippier. Trippier gets hold of it and it's just loads of lovely.
Ping's a fantastic ball, doesn't it?
Oh, it's Longstaff plays the ball over.
Oh, what a ball from
Longstaff. And then there's
it's that first touch by Max. He just lays.
Aye.
Joe Linton.
Is it Joe Linton? Joe Linton back heels it back to Max.
He was offside, I reckon. Like,
was he?
Yeah.
Nah, VO would have looked at that like.
Well, it didn't count anyway.
Oh yeah, wouldn't.
You missed.
Oh shit!
I reckon it would have got pulled back for offside. It would have been an absolute travesty.
But then the ball from Bruno for Joe Linton second.
Yeah.
He just hits it at waist height about 100 miles an hour. And Joe Linton, he takes a bit of a funny first touch, but the goals were really well taken. Mm-hmm. And then obviously the weekend.
The weekend was
Joe Linton was brilliantly to get in. It's obviously own goal from Rare and stuff like
classic game of two halves.
Oh, it really was. You have to give a lot of credit to Brentford. Like I think they were excellent. And then equally, like I was talking to someone the day about this. Like I know you sometimes. I said this to be fair. I know we're going to get into the decisions, but like I did say this on Twitter. I was like, listen, the first half wasn't good enough. You just have to get on with it. You know what I mean? I wasn't meaning that negatively, like that. Oh, we're being absolutely shitty. However, some people are like, well, this is absolutely horrendous. It's honking this. I'm like, whoa, you cannot play the way we're playing against Man United, for example, every single 90 minutes. It's just not going to happen in football, period. But what was really impressive on Saturday was the changes that we made at half-time to shape and personnel made such a huge difference. Yeah. And that's what is... How many times have we seen in the past with the managers where you'll make a few subs, but no changes? It's the same game. It's play the same way.
Left back on.
You're trying something to make something happen. Nothing's working. Yeah. Whereas the second we made the changes to shape and personnel, God almighty, the difference was unbelievable. It was just amazing. Really was amazing.
Which on the face of it, when you look at it, really, it was a pretty like for like. Because obviously Gordon came and went on the right. You then dropped the Isaac dropped onto the left, so you just went like there. I think Isaac just floated around a little bit, didn't he, from the left, which he does. It's his natural game anyway. Finds himself in there, but that meant that Wilson and Isaac could kind of interchange their positions. One of them could drop a little bit deeper and bring it out. But the big thing for me, and I thought he was absolutely incredible second half, was Joe Linton. He just went and done a number on Tony. He just for every, because we were winning none of the second balls, none of the knockdowns, the little passes. He just went and positioned himself alongside Tony so that whenever the balls were going up there for the little knockdowns, it was just falling to Joe Linton every time, and he just picked the ball up.
Given that we're kind of covering both games at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
I've not seen it said yet, but I thought Nick Pope was man of the match on Saturday.
He was excellent.
Even the save he made for the Tony Disallowed goal.
He made a shit myself at one point, but he was very good.
But then he made some brilliant, and that one from Tony, one where Tony scored, but it was disallowed. Like if he doesn't make that save, then there's no disallowed. It's a brilliant save that from the header. Yeah. He was man of the match on Saturday. He was superb. Really, really played well.
You know, I was going to mention something about the formation at the start of the game. So obviously Maxi didn't play, and he obviously put Joe Linton out left. And I'm just not a fan of that. You know, I would much rather have Willock out there because I just think I just think Joe Linton's better. Whereas the second half, I felt Joe Linton was more central, and as you say, was mopping up kind of. Joe Linton for me is just that absolute destroyer in midfield, and I'd much rather have him in the middle. And you know, if Maxi's not playing, I'd probably rather have Gordon out there if I'm being truthful. But if you're going to pick one of them, I'd have Willock out there. And I thought the second half, I felt Willock was much more towards the byline and much more in a wide area, which I think's better. I'd rather have Joe Linton in the middle.
I think the pair of them do. And it suits them too, where they do kind of swap with each other, and someone will go wide and that kind of thing. But
for me, when Joe Linton's playing too deep, you lose a lot of him carrying the ball forward. I think that's probably the I'm not saying best. That is just getting powerful. He's a big, powerful boy, obviously, but taking the ball at 20, 30 yard forward, taking the ball on, moving the game.
It frees Bruno up though, doesn't it? Because Bruno, when Joe Linton's not playing, Bruno gets sucked into that role.
Yeah, because we've seen it where Bruno was injured or suspended or whatever it was, and Joe Linton physically filled that role, and you lost a lot of Joe Linton. You lost a lot. Whereas you still need Bruno to do what he does in that area, but then Joe Linton to play just alongside him to then be a bit of both in moments, I think is really, I love him that position. Whereas playing directly out left, I don't know. I just feel you lose a bit of what Joe still plays well every single week. Don't get us wrong here. I'm not saying he's playing poorly. I'm just saying I feel like you get more of Joe Linton when he's in the middle.
This moment in time, would you say Joe Linton's player of the season?
Ooh.
God,
big one,
I've chucked one there, because obviously people will automatically go to Bruno. For me, it's Joe Linton.
For me, other than the last couple of games, Botman.
Yeah.
Trippier's had a dodgy patch since the World Cup.
Patch, didn't he?
He's still a really important player for Wolves.
Dodgy by without doubt.
Dodgy by his standards is still the best right back I've ever seen in Newcastle.
Aye, 100%.
Hey,
I'm gonna Joe Linton, me though.
Steve Watson's name.
I mean, in terms of when the more you think about it, in terms of consistency based over an entire season, you probably do have to give it to him. Bruno's been very good. Don't get us wrong. Bruno's been very good. Playing through an injury clearly now, as I've said for weeks.
Even an argument with Fabian Shaw.
Shaw's been unbelievable. Mm-hmm. I think there's going to be a thing of like player of the season and the more sort of unsung player of the season, if that makes sense. Like
Longstaff's name should be up there as well.
Were you surprised he went off?
Yes. No. I thought he's terrible. I thought him and Murphy were horrendous. But that's fine. It's football. You have bad games.
Are you talking about the Brentford game?
Hang on a minute.
Hang
on a minute. Sean Longstaff's awful.
He was in that game, and that's fine. You can be.
Bit of context there.
And this is again, and I've said this for I don't know how many times I have to say this. It's absolutely fine having a bad game. It's no problem. Like I don't want to have bad games, but it happens in football. If you play 50 games a season, you might have 10 bad games. That's fine. You might have 12 bad games. Who cares? And Murphy and Longstaff were very poor in that first half. Longstaff was getting caught in possession constantly. Murphy didn't know what he was doing. It's fine. It's fine because we've got options off the bench that can change a game. There's going to be countless times where people like Botman might have a bad game. It's fine. It happens. Like Botman done a bad back pass a few weeks ago, but it's not great in the moment, but it's fine because overall he's going to be very, very good, as he is. He made that penalty. It was a terrible tackle for the penalty.
West Ham, yeah.
But
he's doing his best impression of a steam train for that challenge.
Everyone knows, Jesus, that was bad. But you move on because you know that in the other 88 minutes of the game, it's going to be great.
And that's why my initial thought was Botman, because yes, he's had dodgy moments, but I'm hard pushed to think of a bad game where you look at it across the entire time.
First season in Premier League as well, 22-year-old.
That's a great season for him.
Yeah, and that was going to say that is his first season. It's a
but
huge,
then obviously, thing, I know Isaac's had an injury early on in the season, but just how well has he done?
If he continues in this vein of form, he's getting player of the season.
Do you reckon?
Even though he's only played half of it, I'm telling you.
But you said this about Perez, and he comes alive in the second half, and you would never give him player of the season. So I don't think you can, just because he's been injured and that gets different circumstances. You can't give someone
That's what people will look at, won't they? Because it's what's fresh in your memory. You'll think of what's happened in the last
Despite
few
us
months.
debating this now, it's going to be Bruno that'll get it. You know for fine well Bruno will get it. Fan of the Lord,
It
man,
depends how it's voted for, doesn't it? Isn't it?
Bruno does seem to get everything, doesn't he? I wouldn't give him it.
There's a couple of comments there, Decker, in defense of Longstaff, saying that we'll have to remember that Longstaff has played every single minute of the Premier League so far, so he's absolutely gassed.
I didn't think he was that bad.
He's terrible. You don't have to defend. You don't have to defend or like stick up for him. I haven't got a problem that he was playing poorly, and all these things are playing every single minute and every single game. It's fine. It's amazing. No problems with Longstaff. You've had a bad 45 minutes. All right, let's try someone else. Next week he'll be starting. He'll be fine.
When was the last season where we're going to be sat? Well, was the last time debating player of the season and have this many names to choose from though?
I don't think we've ever in the podcast years.
Oh, 100% definitely wouldn't have.
Maybe when me and Taylor started that 2012 season when we'll finish 5th. Apart from that,
speaking of this,
championship season, maybe.
I don't know why, but I was looking at Newcastle podcasts and feeds just to see how well we were doing compared to other ones. And I was on Google looking at it, and a picture of you and Taylor popped up from many years ago where you were posing in the strawberry.
James, oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it was really cringy, mate. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I know it was. I knew immediately it was. Yeah. It was
I think sometimes when we used to always have to do it at the end of the season to discuss, and you were like kind of having to find the player, and it would be the odd.
There was always one standout player, wasn't there?
Yeah, but I think that, again, of course, I'm going to sound stupid because it's consistency. We're third in the league, but like there has been so many people play well for such a long period of time. Which, for example, to go back what I've just mentioned about there, Perez might have a good 10 games towards the back end of the season, and everyone go, Perez had a good season. Yeah, really, he hasn't had a good season. He's a good few months. But you're clutching at straws in them days because we're shite. You were literally good. People used to give it a Hayden every time just because he used to tackle. Oh, fucking hell, man.
Do you know what?
I know you like Hayden. I'm not trying.
Haven't even mentioned because
he's being very negative about midfielders tonight, isn't he?
Well, Mark, you've just mentioned it's things,
amazing.
It's players which are fresh in your mind. Not one of us has mentioned Almiron.
Yeah,
because.
And I only did it because somebody commented in saying, "What about Almiron?"
Was it Miggy?
I was Miggy.
It's life in the goldfish bowl. You just forget what's happened 5 minutes ago.
And I think our fan base is very guilty of that. Like, listen, I'm sure I've sat here and been a fan of Elliot Anderson for a while. I've always said I think there's a player there. Some people have said there isn't. Fine. He came on and played 20 minutes against Forest. Was it Forest? I think it was. Yeah. Sure, it was Forest. No, I apologise. Was it Forest away?
Yeah, that goal.
Yeah, he did.
Yes, Forest away. You go on Twitter. This is next Pelly. He's the greatest player ever. Get him in every single week. Just calm down. Because going back to the point is you're seeing things in the actual moment. And you're right.
Just watch his goal chance on Saturday and remember that he's Pelly.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because he's just young. It's just you have good games and bad games, man. You just got to roll with it.
If we jump to the Brentford game slightly, because there's quite a few key moments from that game to talk about. Basically, the starting lineup, were you shocked that it wasn't like for like? As in, we didn't just bring Murphy straight on for Maxi.
You mean Gordon?
Lineup.
Not Murphy, Gordon. Sorry, we didn't bring Gordon straight in for Maxi for Brentford. Yeah.
Can't remember. To be honest with you,
I fully expected Joe Linton just to come and play on that left side.
Did he really?
100%. Yeah.
He has done quite a bit over the season. Joe Linton and Willock have kind of, if Joe
them two have just
played, they've kind of dovetailed on the left side.
But you haven't had Gordon at that point though. We didn't have Gordon in them days.
Yeah, but Gordon's just came back from an injury, hasn't he? So
he's featured the last couple of games.
Gordon
straight in for.
I was surprised. 20 minutes and buggers off again anyway. So
yeah, he's always happy about it as well. So. No, but I was. We'll get there.
We'll get on that.
I was surprised that Gordon didn't start. I have to be fair. I wasn't bothered. Again,
he's got an attitude problem we're seeing on Saturday.
I was just surprised.
Which goal was it? It was West Ham, I think, when Gordon wins the ball right on the left hand side. Our right hand side, right back more or less.
He keeps the ball in. He keeps the ball in on the left hand side.
I forget, but it's brilliant. It's a really good bit of play, and it's something that I don't think we've had before, really. Or well, certainly not before this season. We haven't had that kind of desire. So Maxi do that. Bournemouth
was the home.
Bournemouth when he kept it in.
Bournemouth when he kept it in, and
which you thought was
the Wigan.
Yeah, did. No, we did because Maxi played it Longstaff. No, we played it Longstaff, and then Longstaff saved it, and then Miggy.
That's right. And that's twice. It doesn't often happen. That's twice we've scored from someone chasing down a lost cause like that. Instead of just we'll take a throw in, or give a throw in away. It's anyway. Keep it in. Progressing and scoring. We've got the quality to do that.
Yeah. And you're right about desire, though, isn't it? And changing attitude, because back in the day, we would have just been happy that's going for a throw in. Do you know what I mean?
Darryl Janmat's not chasing that down.
And I mentioned this a lot about the Murphy on the West Ham. So I know we're jumping from game to game, but the Wilson second goal. Back in the day, we would have just camped there You know, the defender's got the ball.
Yeah.
He's not hurting you there. And we would have just camped there. If not, actually ran backwards, to be fair. But Murphy's first reaction is, no, I'm going to put you under the pressure and see what you've got. And obviously, he fluffs it and will score. And I know it's poor defending, of course it is, but Murphy forced him into that mistake, which was brilliant.
It comes from the press, though, isn't it? That's where it's coming from. Because if you don't do that, as you're saying, you don't score that goal. And there's been a lot said about that this week. Of that kind of over the last couple of weeks, Newcastle have almost rediscovered that press. There's been a couple of articles about it in Athletic springs to mind, where we just weren't as intense as we had been, and it's just that sudden upturn in form that we've had, and the creative chances taken of the chances is coincided with that being back and us being back on with those and not letting them breathe. Yeah,
Isaac's goal at the weekend came from pressing the ball high, their left back, hoofs it long, we win it back in their half, and then next thing you know, it's in the back court.
Joe Linton's goal, he sends me to the shops when he goes up the right hand side, cuts in, cuts inside.
What do you come back with?
A tin of straw with that stinking fish.
Tin of that There's already a question about it.
But he does him like a kipper, and then sticks it through the keeper's legs.
I do want to highlight Isaac's lack of celebration at one point.
West Ham.
So the West Ham game, when he does unbelievably well at how, obviously, I think it was me and Scott that done the match reaction at that one.
Ben me.
What? What does it? Does it what? What?
Scott and me.
All right, okay. Is this 3 weeks in a row of had a Ben me joke? Do we not have one the other week as well?
I don't really pay attention, to be honest with you.
But yeah, Isaac does really well. Like, he reads the passage of play unbelievable. Like, he just stops when he knows the keeper's coming out.
Yeah.
And he just takes a moment. He's like, now I'll take this down, chest it down, and just volleys that into the back of the net.
I think him doing that might be what kind of befuddles Fabianski, because he doesn't instead of
he doesn't know what to do, does he?
He kind of thinks, oh, well, if he stopped there, what do I do? Because it's that little half second where he's got.
It's like time stands still, though, isn't it?
He just gets his kind of knees it and it rolls up. And
it's such the fine moments in football, isn't it? In terms of quality as well. As you say, loads of people would expect Isaac just to continue his run on, just keep running. And then Fabianski just comes away with the ball. But as you say, he delays his run completely. Fabianski panics, really.
Yeah.
But the finish was incredible. It was very Henry-esque. Obviously, the celebration was very Henry-esque. There's not many. I mean, we've seen Wilson do similar things in regards to very neat finishes and stuff, but that was a beautiful finish, that. It was really, really nice. So confident.
Actually, the finish a bit further out.
Did Wilson ever? I'm sure he scored with left foot, which I never expected him to take, and he chipped someone with his left foot, quite far out as well. I can't remember. And I was really surprised he took it with his left.
Wasn't that the Spurs one? No, wasn't that the Spurs one? It's the keeper. Lloris messes up, doesn't he? Does it run into
it was that one.
His left there.
The one against Arsenal.
That was incredible. It went wide, but it would have been the best goal I've ever seen.
It would have been unbelievable.
Unbelievable. But it was an amazing finish. Celebration was even better, if it can be. It was amazing. It was unbelievable. Yeah.
Are you shocked of how well he's done?
Oh God, unbelievably. Yeah. Because I'll be honest. I hate to say this sometimes, but I thought maybe he's too lightweight to be up front in his own. I hate to say that because it sounds very old school attitude. That is too light him. But you mentioned the game that I was thinking was Bournemouth at home. I remember he played and it really struggled, and I kept thinking, is he better playing from deep and running onto the team, rather than being the man up front?
We even saw that on Saturday against Brentford, the first half, when he was up front by himself. He did nothing.
Yeah.
Because he's up against two very big, strong central defenders, and that's
you could argue
that's where he struggles.
Outfield player was nothing in that first half.
Who were the centre halves?
We lost Janssen early doors.
The Danish one.
I like him. They lost him early doors.
Janssen.
I like him.
Who else?
Yeah, he went off. He got injured early on.
I was surprised Leeds got rid of him. Well, anyway,
can't think of the names.
But in terms of his,
I remember Ben Mee. That's it.
That's what I'm trying to get you to say.
His quality is unbelievable. Like, I mean, he's something like we've commented the last few weeks of his touches. You just go back to the goal against. I'm so sorry, I'm forgetting these goals. Was it Man United when he headed it back across? Was it Maxi? Aye.
Yeah.
That first touch by Isak and then play Bruno away. Moments like that, we talk about the goal away at Bournemouth, sure it was, where he gets himself in a position. Forest, apologise. So sorry. There's that many games just sticking fast. But he's
because we're winning them all. I know. They're all playing into
one. Yeah. But he is an unbelievable player. Like, and now I do want to comment. I'm probably going to jump forward here, but that Goth who turned around and said, "What did he say? What did Frank say? What did he say?
The Goth.
saying that, oh, you've got a striker about 63 million. There's no need for that. There is no.
Where's your goth?
He's just a goth. There's no need.
Go on here.
Yeah.
Who was on about? Yeah.
What's he called?
Thomas Frank.
Thomas Frank.
Goth apparently.
He is. Telling you. I've seen pictures of him.
The goth.
There's no. Why is he saying that? Like, why is he saying that? So if City score,
I've seen 3 separate interviews where he says that same line.
So why? I don't. It really, it normally doesn't get me back up when people say things. I don't really care.
Shall I tell you why, Derek?
Really did.
Derek.
Go on then. Tell us why.
Your Sunday name,
Derek. It is Easter.
It is Easter.
Because he's a jealous guy.
Well, yeah, but I'm sure Haaland's probably scored and he hasn't went, oh, well, whatever.
Was that a John Lennon joke? I'm trying to work out.
No, he's
goth.
He's a goth, definitely. He's 100%.
I think
it's just so frustrating that though. Why is he saying that?
An implication that they've got all this money to spend and we're a little.
Oh, I get it.
But
But goodness Lord, like how many teams have scored against him that have probably cost 40, 50 million for a player? He's not going to say it every single week, is he?
He had a twist about gamesmanship at the end as well.
The dark arts.
Dark arts. Yeah.
Oh, did he? I haven't heard this.
Have you not heard this one?
Yeah, he did. And I like him. I think he's
a good manager.
Yeah,
very good manager.
He came over as very, very salty.
He did on the
I find everyone salty at the minute. Like.
when they beat that St. James, I'm sure he said something ridiculous at that point as well. Yeah.
It was just a ridiculous comment. There's no reason at all to mention Price there. At all. There's just no reason at all.
So there's actually a question, and just because it's topical right now, it is from Blue Rhythm Boy that says, surely you'll cover it, but what were your thoughts on Frank's comment about Tyndall?
Well, this is the dark arts bit that he was talking about.
So he was questioned. So just to highlight it for everybody, he was questioned at the end as to why his coaches were pestering the 4th official, basically.
No, he just came out with it himself.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. So he was talking about all the dark arts of new, and this was the most ironic bit because he even then sat and said himself, "We're guilty of it. We do it. It's nothing new in football. It's game management, which is every team does." And then went on to slag off about it. About dark arts of being, because what he was talking about was the penalty, and that Pope was getting in the face on the penalty spot and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. That's where what it started with, where he started talking about the dark arts, and then he went, and then we made a conscious decision for our bench to talk to the 4th official because, of course, everybody knows Jason Tyndall does that.
Does Tyndall do that?
Oh, 100%.
100%. Honestly, I've never realized that.
But if you think he's always stood in the technical area, isn't he? He's always right at the edge of it, near the halfway line, where the 4th official's standing.
Speaking of the technical area, David Moyes, you see how far laps he was doing on the side? Back and forwards.
But have you seen how big the Upton Park there? How big
the Berlin ground.
Big the Berlin ground. Those technical areas are.
I was tiny on. I've noticed. I was so small.
You've got an 8 lane bloody running track going around the pitch.
I just don't understand where all this is. Just the legs this is growing about dark arts and stuff.
Do you know who's to blame for it?
Klopp.
Jurgen Klopp and Ten Hag.
Mikel Arteta.
But then you just look at the game yesterday, Liverpool Arsenal. Both of those teams were absolutely horrific at it.
Yeah, they were.
And they were the two managers that were moaning about it.
It was one of the best games of football I've ever seen.
It was.
But Arsenal were time wasting
from minute one.
From any time they were leading that game, even when Liverpool equalised towards the end, they were still running down the clock at that point as well. To the 100%. Point where Ramsdale got booked. At what point was it a penalty he got booked for?
He got booked
for time wasting. And I think there was still a canny chunk of the game left. Yeah. And you're still time wasting, and the referee didn't go and
Salah missed it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I noticed 2 teams the weekend did what we did. Trippier thing, a different player hold the ball.
Liverpool.
But Brentford did it as well.
And Liverpool did it as well. So is that dark arts as well now, is it, or what? It's insane. It's insane. If you're telling me dark arts is Pope having to go at the person who's got the ball for the penalty, there isn't a team in world football that hasn't done that. Well, what team has not just went, it's a penalty, I'll go on my line, mate?
Exactly.
No one does.
Do they want the people behind the ground to sit still with the fingers on the lips? Behind the goal? No, you're not allowed to move. You're not allowed to make any noise.
But I wouldn't worry about it. It's just one of those. The narrative is that's what Newcastle are.
It's stuck now, though, hasn't it?
That's it. That's what we are now. So might as well embrace it. We're going to be getting that abuse, rightly or wrongly, from people that do it themselves. So that's here to stay.
We're dirty cheats that spend a fortune.
And we are, but everyone is. I wouldn't worry about it.
No, I'm not worried. It's honestly, I know I'm sounding like I am because I normally honestly do not give a shit really what people say. The money comment annoyed us. I have to be honest because that was just needless. Have a bit of class and just say, it was a hell of a goal, great goal, and it was.
Let's be honest. And there was a comment, I can't remember who put it in, but he said, if Brentford were to sell Tony, he'd be worth a similar value.
Yeah, I'd say he would be.
100%.
Yeah.
So does that mean he doesn't want that money?
No, but also
It's too much.
But
Too
so,
expensive?
so if he scored, does he turn around and say, "Great goal from Tony, who's actually worth £65 million"? Would he ever say that? Of course he's not. Bell end. Baby.
Bloody goths, eh? These goths.
These goths. He's a
Can you
goth.
explain the goth comment?
There was a few pictures of him going around ages ago on some sort of night
It's in
out.
his new romantics era.
100%.
All right, okay.
Long hair.
But
Flouncy
sorry,
shirts.
it's just it was unnecessary. It's just a bell end. Or as Keane would say, baby.
Next comment. I think we'll have to mention, just because we mentioned the Liverpool-Arsenal game.
Oh, what a game.
Thoughts on the linesman?
Well, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because Mitrovic has been banned for 10 years and he tapped the ref.
10 years. Did you say 10 years?
10 years, yeah.
You know he doesn't exaggerate.
No, it's a shambles, by the way, that decision. But anyway, he's been banned for 10 years. And then you've got him who 100%. Now, I'm not at the line. That should happen here. Nothing. Robinson shouldn't get wrong for going towards him. He shouldn't get wrong for doing what he did. Move on. Get on with it. But if you're giving Mitrovic 10-year ban,
what were your thoughts on it?
He needs to be getting wrong.
When I saw it straight away, right? And do you know what really annoyed us? Sky kept on going, and we're going to show you after the break about what had happened. I was like, simmer down, man, lads. Just show me. I think the linesman's try to push him away.
He's trying to shrug him off for me.
Just, like, caught him. Yeah. That's all that it is.
No,
hence why Roy Keane's baby.
It was the best. the one after the game where he paused for ages and then went baby was incredible.
He cracks up himself.
He does crack up, doesn't he?
It couldn't happen to a nicer fella, though, could it?
Oh, he is a bellend as well.
Robinson.
He's a bellend.
But there's a video of I've seen he's screaming at the linesman off.
Yeah,
well, exactly.
To be fair,
100%.
He deserved to get told for because he gave a foul on for Jesus. It was the worst decision I've ever seen. It wasn't Brighton's game or worse, but anyway, it was a bad foul. It was outrageous. And I get why Robinson was upset, and I probably understand why he ran over at the ref. But to flip everything, I'm telling you now, if the linesman goes over to Robinson and says, "Hey mate," like whatever, and he does that, I'm telling you, 10-year ban.
Yeah, he's
so you can't have it that way and then not be the other. You can't. The linesman has to get done. I don't really want him to get done because
but he's been suspended already.
Oh,
has he?
Yeah,
it's been suspended.
Goodness me.
Pending an investigation.
Gordon and leave sort of thing.
It just seems really harsh to me.
But if Robertson doesn't go over and put hands on the linesman in the first place, the situation doesn't happen.
He's a big lad, like, wasn't he? He's a big lad, like the linesman.
Constantini was
I think
called.
he's Greek.
Was he?
Yeah, certainly.
Can you remember?
Robinson made such a massive thing of it. Didn't he?
Baby.
He was like running around. It was just he was like almost trying to act as if I'm in complete shock that he's done this. And I was just like, get on with it, man, you baby.
Absolutely cringy, aye. But then the funniest thing, somebody else was kicking off, then they got booked.
Aye.
And
I think that's where
kicking off and they got booked during that.
That's where it's annoying though, where that the incident has happened, right? I kind of hate this in other moments where, like, say there's a like, for example, right? Let's say Brighton, they had a blatant penalty, but 10 of them really. And then what happens if some player really loses his rag, he gets booked, or maybe even sent off?
Yeah. Well, that's what sparked the Mitrovic situation.
I know. It is frustrating, isn't it? When the original decision's incorrect, and then you end up getting further penalised when you're actually right. It's just horrendous. If I was Brighton, by the way, I would just come off the field. That's what I would do. Took them all off the field.
That was awful.
Brighton have received.
Welcome to the Always Seagulls podcast.
We'll talk about every game except that was. Sorry.
Brighton have received an apology. Another apology for Brighton. That was absolutely diabolical. Those decisions.
Where's our apology?
Oh, we're not getting one because we won the game. That's why we're not getting one.
That's true.
If it had been a draw or a defeat, we would have.
We also wanted a draw in that game. Would have been nice for us. Looking at it from a draw, because both sides would have lost points. It would have been brilliant. And at the time, it was going to be a draw, but that was diabolical.
So just staying on the theme of bad refereeing brings us back to the Brentford game.
Oh yeah.
So the first goal to get ruled offside is correct. It's offside, despite I can't remember who it was, but it was one of the Sky Sports pundits in the studio once again said that Brentford will feel hard done by that decision. Unlucky lads for being offside.
I think even before it gets to that, because it's a corner or a free kick.
It doesn't matter.
It starts with corner, I think. I think it's a corner. Just before that, Ivan Toney 100% commits a foul, and the ball runs away, and then it goes out for a corner. So I think I don't know whether they'll have pulled it back that far, but 100% that should have been a free kick at that point.
From a dead ball, they don't.
Goes over that.
But yeah, the first
Offside.
hang on. So
Well,
what's
the-
the
the-
first one? The penalty one? No.
Offside is,
Well,
is the first one.
Offside, that one.
but then the penalty. Then
Then the penalty one, which is a penalty
100%
all
penalty.
day because it's
Botman.
Botman clashes into him. And the commentator on that said, to be fair to Botman, he's timed everything perfectly, but then he just swipes and misses at the ball.
Oh, it's a shot like that.
It all starts though from Shea when it comes up on the site. When you see it back, he actually, as the ball's coming up, because the commentator even says, "Why is he not just headering that?" But you actually see him.
He
loses the ball in the sun.
on our lads.
He's like that, and then obviously it falls and he's done. He's gone. And then Botman.
I must admit I haven't watched it back. If I'm being truthfully honest, I was just really surprised in the moment why Shea was even left back anyway. It just seemed
because
really,
we
broke
broke. We
counter.
were way up the pitch.
Dan Burn would have been bounding.
Dan
up
Burn
that
was on the
outside.
edge of the box, ready to curl one in.
Why was Botman running in at such speed and power? Because there's only one thing going to happen. If he doesn't win the ball, he's going to
He
absolutely
must be
clatter him.
absolutely convinced he's going to win it. He's
Yeah,
gonna wipe the ball.
come!
It was like what Lascelles does it sometimes. You know, when you see Lascelles coming in, the whole ground knows here we go. The ball and him are going into fucking Jupiter.
It
You
was
know what I mean?
madness,
And
absolute madness.
it was
Paul Donaghy used to do
unbelievable
it.
though how fast that lad got there though, because I actually thought he had overdone it. Oh, it's fine, Botman's got this,
Yeah.
and he really turned on the boosters to get
I
there.
think
Like,
that's what Botman does.
and then he got wiped out clean. Like, what a tackle!
I'll see where me breaks.
The second he did it, I was like, that's it.
I thought it was going to be similar to that scene off Forrest Gump. Now he just keeps on running out the ground.
It's all Campbell.
Botman's just gone.
The slide.
I was like, what? He just cleaned them out. Didn't he? It was awful. It was horrendous. It was horrendous.
The telling thing is that Botman didn't even stand back up. He just
Well, he knows, doesn't he? It's like there's no coming back from that. You know that's getting given as a penalty every day of the week.
The penalty itself was absolutely honking, though.
Terrible.
Shocking
Terrible.
penalty. And that's what Tony does, but
does,
he
yeah.
doesn't get it far enough in the corner. There's hardly any power, and Nick Pope just guesses the right way.
Yeah.
And as soon as the keeper guesses the right way, the odds on you're going to put it towards the keeper's favour, aren't you?
Yeah, I think
If
sometimes
it's on the ground.
he only takes that one step. He has a very short run up, and obviously he's relying on the goalkeeper moving first. And if the keeper doesn't, a hell of a good chance of saving it because there's no power in it. You know what I mean? Really,
Not at all.
it would have to be right in the corner to have a chance. And obviously Pope saves it and happy days. Like, and then obviously we're unfortunately get another one.
Yeah.
Against
So,
us, right?
so
Which
this
is never a penalty in a
this is
million
the
years.
first controversial,
Never a penalty.
controversial move. So
Oh.
hang on.
No, I'm not saying. No, I just.
So all right, okay.
No, I just you talk, Chris. You go.
So do you know what is so much of that? What happens on this penalty one again?
So
It's corner again.
it's a corner that comes in, and Isak obviously is attempting to try and
Right,
clear
okay,
the ball.
yeah.
And the lad comes from his left hand
So
side.
it comes from over his left shoulder.
Yes, and so this is, I think, where the debate will start. Then, so why is it not a penalty?
Because his legs at about it's waist height, isn't it?
This
So
is
waist
a funny
height.
argument. I'm
He's
hearing
kicking
about
at the ball.
this one. Weird on this. So what? So the players kick out.
Is there
Sorry, I'll let you finish. Sorry, I apologize.
is there any contact there?
That's a question, isn't it?
If there's any contact there at all, it's minimal contact. There's no way on earth the action of Isak going to clear the ball in the way he does results in their player going down in
Holding his face.
in the fashion that he goes down, the direction that he goes down, and how he goes down.
You could say
He's
that
100% bought that.
90% of penalties where you could say that the contact and the result
Minimal,
aren't
yeah.
always,
Yeah.
in keeping with one another. They're not always.
But the referee's standing there looking straight at that, and that's exactly what he sees. And he straight away, no penalty. Rules it out.
That's
No
my
penalty.
first issue. The other one is to spend that long looking at the same bit of footage, which
3
is
minutes.
inconclusive.
3 minutes.
3
It
minutes.
was nearly 4.
It's meant to
So
be.
it was 4.5 minutes from Tony striking the ball.
It's meant to be a clear and obvious error. You spend 3.5 minutes, and I've still not seen an angle that says to me, right, he's fouled him there.
No.
You don't give that. Surely that's not what VAR's
So
for.
that's exactly the fence I'm on. That's why it's not a penalty for me, is because clear and obvious means that you would know within 2 looks. In my opinion, would be fine.
And that's what I'm saying. The referee's
I get that.
standing there
I get
looking
that,
at it,
yeah.
looking at,
No, that happens
absorbing
all-
what's
that
happened in
happens.
front of him, and that's what he's saying. Isaac's gone to clear that ball. The cannot have been, as I say, if there's contact, it's a brush of the shirt. The reaction of the player, he's gone down. The referee's gone, well, what he's done there doesn't result in that, so it's not a penalty.
There's lots of penalties, as best he's right, that you know.
Oh, 100%.
There's
They'll
not much in
die.
it,
They'll
go
dive.
down
They'll
the-
simulate.
you know, I
and-
get it.
against Barcelona 25 years ago.
Oh, that was
It
worse than Botman's challenge.
No,
that.
but that's like, but I think in terms of a lot of people have said, well, it's only waist height. That means nout, because then if you
No, but
physically hit
that's
someone,
because
I think if
obviously
it's ankle height,
the player's going down with
Nah,
his head, isn't it?
aye, but that doesn't matter if it hits him waist height, knee height, ankle height, foot height. It doesn't matter. He's contact. It doesn't matter.
impediment. Like,
I think the
Aye,
most
exactly, yeah, that
frustrating
doesn't mean that.
thing, though, is that the fact that we've seen the same challenge happen on X amount of our lads this season in different games across the season. Just one
When you
couple
go
of
on the
weeks
Man
ago
United
against
game,
Man United.
that was head height.
So Fabian
Yeah.
Shaw goes to head the ball and he gets booed in the face at that point.
Longstaff one against Burnley's been used a lot, which is a fair comment.
Is it more of an issue that
3 seasons ago. That
It
one
was,
as
but-
well, so, yeah,
It's-
I
I get what
agree,
you're
but
saying.
it's down to the referees just changing the rules every single week?
Scott made
There's
an
no
interesting point.
consistency.
Scott, who said there should be a time limit.
Yeah, so on the match reaction, we spoke about this, saying that should we have some form of countdown timer that's just counting down
Can you
until
imagine
they've
the
got to
crowd
make
if that
a
was
decision.
actually happening? as
Did
well?
it, did it, did it.
But
All it's going to do is
You
make
get players trying to
make
fill-
them rush into a decision, though, isn't
No,
it?
Well, they get it wrong anyway.
You get opposition players trying to filibuster, trying to kind of.
We would do that. We would do that.
Oh, of course, would. Jason Tyndall.
We'd
The
be on
timer's got to be on the VAR guys, though,
Referee,
not
see
the...
that? See that playing up there, referee?
Tyndall be trying to fucking change the timer on that, wouldn't he? No, but I keep coming back to this about VARs, that it has to be clear and obvious. And the fact you're looking at 3-4 minutes of footage, only 2 angles are really hard,
Yeah.
and they're looking over and over again. It can no longer be clear and obvious. Then it cannot be, because
But then the other thing is they then send them across to the monitor
well, you're not a pen.
and they only show one angle.
Yes, well, that's it. Well, we've seen this a few times as well, which is annoying. I'm sure there was the goal we got disallowed against maybe Palace at home when Willock got pushed.
Yep.
He only got shown one angle,
Yeah,
and he was actually walking away, and they showed you the
Showed the
angle
other
he
one.
wanted to be seen.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this is the basics, man. This is meant to be the pinnacle of officiating, the pinnacle, the highest level of football, and they can't even watch 2 replays, right?
They've made a
For
lot
fuck's
of
sake.
mistakes over the season. Again, the Brighton game's not an example of it. West Ham's all weekend, but this
Brighton was
it's just not a
horrendous.
penalty. Maybe it is a penalty, but there's not the footage there to prove that it is.
It's not enough to change the referee's decision.
No.
Well, if the ref give it right, and it went to VAR, is there enough to overturn it?
They'd keep that.
No, because they would have said, because their opinion
So it
was
is a
it was-
penalty.
the VAR's opinion was it's a penalty, which is why they send him over to
No,
the
I think
monitor.
VAR's opinion is we can't make our mind up. Go and have a look.
Well, I
No,
do
no,
think,
because
I do
if-
think they're saying if we think there might be, so you
Yeah.
might want to come and have a look.
Does
at
that
this.
not influence his decision then?
They'll only
100%.
they'll only send him to the monitor if they think that on-field decision is
wrong.
incorrect.
VAR isn't there necessarily to change the referee's opinion, which they did in that instance.
Well,
Unless
it's not,
it was
yeah.
clear and obvious.
Well,
Well,
he's going over to look at it.
Yeah.
But he's still got to ultimately make that decision of do I stick with my original decision
I'll be honest,
or do I change?
when I kept on seeing the replay over and over again, and then the referee went over, I thought he'll stick with his decision. Yeah, I honestly thought that. And that's probably the first
honestly,
time
so
this season.
I've seen one where he's had, I forget which game it was now, the referee went over, I looked and says, no, I was right.
There's been
Twice.
two this season.
Michael Oliver
Yeah.
was one.
no replay at all. Did you go? Oh, could be none. There was
There's
for me
one
personally.
angle,
There
I
really
think
was.
it's where
Vaguely.
it's from
There really was for me.
behind the player because he just goes
Yeah.
It's
he
a bit
goes
like
over
the,
like he's been.
you know,
Oh, I get that. I
stomach.
get
you know
that.
the Joe Linton handball against Southampton
Yeah.
away? It's a bit like that in that
There's not
maybe
enough.
it did
yeah.
hit his arm, but there's nothing there. For me, I can't see.
And
where
that
it
is,
has.
that decision is stuck with the referee's on-field decision on that one,
Yeah,
didn't it?
they are.
And I'll go because I was watching it with Dane, and Dane said like he says, you know, what it is? Maybe in motion it could be a penalty in the fact he's trying to clear the ball, he hasn't, and he's clattered the player. However, the replay wasn't showing that there was any contact, and I think that's where the decision has to really be looked at. Is that
I think
could you actually see if that boot made contact with him? And the answer is no. So that then could technically be a dive, then, right? If that's the
And
case,
do-
there was no
He
footage of
100%
actually
dive.
touching-
100%
Yeah.
dive.
And do you know what it is? I know they don't, but I think they need to look at it and think that even if he has made contact, is that influencing the game in any way whatsoever? Is he going to have control of that ball?
Oh God, it's gone
Because it's gone. It's miles away.
it depends. I don't know if he
I get in certain
if
instances.
he proper slides them down and the ball's 5 yards away on the way out, you'd say, well, that's a foul.
Aye,
The
but
ones
in that
that annoy me-
situation in the box.
There's a few times when he's just, I know I'm not referencing this incident, but where a player will go around the goalkeeper and he basically belts out for a goal kick, but gets fouled. And I'm like, well, he would have never gotten the ball. The ball was going out for a goal kick.
Yeah.
And sometimes they'll still get a penalty. So them can be annoying. But at the end of the day, I mean, the point for me still stands is that they took too long. And again, it's back to clear and obvious. And you cannot look at something for 4 minutes. You know what I mean? If 4 minutes is a long time to look at two angles or three angles. You know,
I've just mentioned there about players not having control of the ball, but then obviously I'm going to argue with myself here. You go back to the Man City game where Ryan Fraser gets absolutely wiped out, and there's no penalty there.
Yeah.
So how can this one against Brentford be a penalty, but then that one against Manchester City,
and then in the
consistency.
And in the same afternoon, you've got Brighton. So sorry to go back to the Brighton, but that one that he was a penalty.
That's 100% a penalty.
And then that one gets looked at for 4 minutes and is this is
VAR is not the problem. It's the people that are sitting in the seat watching it. That is the problem.
Yeah, it's mad how
Mic them up.
Isn't it mad though how you can get it wrong so often when you've got the opportunity to watch something over and over again? I was actually honestly was a fan of it coming in, and I wasn't asked about delaying games personally. I wasn't bothered by that. I was more just get the result right, and somehow we're constantly getting it wrong still. It's unbelievable. Like it's unbelievable.
It's like the offside. If it's offside, it's given. If that replay then shows he's onside, you accept it and you move on. But when it's things like that, and
I don't know, because
it is interpretation a lot still, though, isn't it? Because some people will say, probably Brentford fans think that's a penalty, and if it happened to Wilson, is it a pen? Other way around?
I think it's
Ben
pretty
Mee
obvious.
clatters him.
Well,
He
didn't carry it.
No, I'm joking. I take that back completely. Sorry, but like if the rules reverse completely, are you saying
He's lucky if he's chafed
there's
his
a chance here?
belly button?
But Bessie said that there are penalties on.
I think one of the things that you have to look at is the way the pundits react afterwards. And
well, Ref Watch they all said it was never a penalty in a million years.
I'm surprised at that as well. Actually, I really am. But I'm pleased to have said that. But don't let it matter to me. But obviously.
So jumping over to the next controversial decision is Callum Wilson has the ball in the back of the net and is deemed to have handballed it. Okay, Bessie, will come to you on this one. Thoughts on that one?
Not seen again. I'll go back to Joe Linton one. So I've not seen an angle that confirmed to me that's handball. And if the referee's given the goal to start with, and I don't think I might be wrong because I've not scrutinised it like massively. I've not seen an angle that's how come he's handballed that. It ricochets a bit, and it possibly it's the t-shirt. You see Wilson doing that, the t-shirt line thing.
It doesn't hit him up there, like.
Did it hit him here?
It literally hits him on the band of his shirt.
So is that still handball? Or
it's classed as handball.
That is handball.
Yeah. Well, because it's literally on the line.
And is it one of these? See if I get this right. So if Wilson does that and it hits him there, and he shoots and the keeper saves it right, and then someone scores, could it have been allowed? Is it one of them because
I think that's still handball?
Oh, is that still handball? Because wasn't there a time where like
if the hand is then because there was one at the weekend.
Brighton.
Was it Brighton as well? It was the same thing. Where
someone had a shot to come off McAllister.
Comes off his hand and then the score from it.
That's right.
So it's straight away disallowed.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yes, that's right.
But I do think it hits his arm. I get what you're saying around the, is it dead clear? It looks like it hits and it's
not intentional, is it?
Oh, absolutely not. No. It just hits him. His arms are close to his side. It's that the whole thing of it's not outside of the silhouette of his. It's not an unnatural position and stuff like that.
Yeah, but you're saying that his arms are tucked in. His arms, he literally cannot move his arms anywhere else. No. They're literally attached to him, like down over. Like
that's arms for you.
He hasn't handled the ball. The ball. It's the classic ball to elbow.
So the down by his side, and he can't move them anywhere whatsoever. And like you mentioned, Bestie, if you're looking at defender making that sort of, it's not even a challenge. If the ball hits their arm, and their arms are down by their side, a penalty isn't given. It's not,
but I think it's fair that if it's a handball in the box, and I'm not convinced that this one was, but Mark Brenton said it was, so I'll go with Mark because I'm not sure. I wouldn't, but I think
that's what Bessie was kind of alluding to.
It doesn't normally happen. It's been a long weekend, but I think it's fair that if accidental handball hits a striker's elbow or something and loops up and up, and I score that, totally deceives the defenders because even if it's accidental, it still hit that part of his arm, scored. I think it's not. It's the same. I think if someone has a shot and the defender can't move his arm out the way, hits his arm, goes out. But if it doesn't hit his arm and scoring, keep us nowhere near it. It's a penalty for me, because even if the defender can't help it, the fact that it's hit his arm and rebounded elsewhere means that it's not gone where it would have gone had it not hit his arm. So I think if it has hit Wilson's arm, then fair enough. But I didn't see an angle. I saw an angle that suggested that it might have, but then I saw one that it was inconclusive again. Again, let's say similar to Joe Linton.
Yeah, I'm with you. There's not enough to say that's not a goal.
I don't think so.
Anything else to add on that one?
No, I don't think so. I was actually really happy he had scored because again,
Yeah.
it keeps his run going because there was obviously.
And it was creating a little bit of a cushion for Will at that point as
It
well.
really was.
To take it 3-1.
And I know we've talked a lot about decisions, but that second half we really turned up and it was
from the start.
It was a fabulous second half.
That'll stop. Joe Linton before he scored. It's all Campbell again. He's gone champion. Have a bit of that.
Well, had opportunities to score more than that as well.
Yeah.
That great, the one that we briefly spoke about before, when it ultimately comes to Anderson.
Yeah.
Gordon does fantastic down the right hand side. Absolutely murders Ben Mee again. He had a terrible game. Gets away
I had a terrible
and then puts it across to Wilson, if I remember right, and then it's just rolls it across. It's just
Wilson's got
slightly behind Anderson. And he's just got to almost check himself, but it's just a poor finish. No power. He just tries to place it back across the goal, and it just fizzles out.
Pope got in the game as well.
Should have been a goal out.
Pope comes out with a great save, unbelievable save.
Header.
Oh yeah, that's a really good save towards the end.
Low down.
Later on.
Again, that's twice that one before the Tony one. That was just like that one. And that one, edge of the box, he comes out and deals with it.
That scared the life out of me.
It's because of what's happened in the past, but with the Liverpool,
Twice.
He gets away with it though because
double save.
I don't know.
It was.
I don't think he knows. I don't think he knows much about that second save.
Double save.
Gets in the way. Schmeichel didn't always know what was happening, but he saved it.
Make yourself big.
He hits him on the back as he's running away from it.
He was going to handball it, as a save almost.
Flashback.
I thought, shit.
I was like,
no, he did. He was brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant. No,
he had a fantastic game.
He did.
Yeah, very good.
Just because obviously
Battley's best.
We're talking about the Brentford game. There's a comment here from Joseph Brook that says, thoughts on what happened when Gordon was subbed off. So I think it was only yesterday that the fans video came out, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Of obviously a bit more of an in-depth look as to what happens. So just to summarize the situation, Gordon is brought on a half-time. Okay, and there's X amount of seconds left towards the end of the game.
5 seconds.
It's right at the end, isn't it? It's like
similar to what Steve Bruce done to Andy Carroll when Andy Carroll used to come on for the last couple of seconds of a game.
Brought Matt Rich on.
Do you know what it is? And I know Gordon has had a bit of shit for the reaction, but I kind of get why he kicks off.
Okay,
I get it. If you came on as a sub, no matter what time of the match it is, you don't want to then be replaced. And I think there was other players that could have been replaced.
Jacob Murphy was creasing at him.
He loves it in.
He does, that guy.
Honestly, he would crease. His house was on fire.
I don't know. The Gordon thing, I've seen people say he wants to play. House said that he had a bit of an ankle knock, didn't he? He said he came up because he picked up a little bit of a thing, like something. Well,
I don't know. It was time wasting that.
Yeah, I don't know if I was obviously trying to downplay that. He's saying that, and that's why he chose him and trying to put it to bed. Fair enough. I think. I tell you what, is right. I've always said this. I've never got any problem if a player gets brought off and doesn't want to come off. I've never had a problem in that. For some reason, the cameras and crowds really overreact to the fact, he's not happy coming off. Do you want him to be happy coming off? I want him to be unhappy. However, I think the other footage that was seen,
the struggle.
I didn't like that at all.
I didn't like that bit.
Because Eddie Howe, obviously, he's trying. He's
like
to explain the reasons as to why he's done what he's done, and he just throws his arm away. And for me, you didn't touch him like that.
Poor,
that's very
yeah,
poor.
that's the bit I don't like.
Yeah.
It's not.
Do you know what it is? I'm not sure if it is Eddie Howe that grabbed his arm because he's Eddie Howe's trying to talk to him, and I think it might be Tyndall because Tyndall's coming back over, and it looks like it's him that grabs him. Then he does that. He shrugs him at that point.
There's a bit where he does that with his shirt, and I just assumed because he saw he was wearing blue again, he was getting flashbacks.
Yeah, and listen,
you cannot react like that to your manager in that situation.
Well, Eddie Howe came out and said that he needs to work on his emotions in certain situations, which I get, right? We'll have to remember that he's a young kid.
Well, we've seen it firsthand to our own players.
Yeah.
We've seen him want to nut share and start and trip. He's a hot-headed kid. He is, and it is what it is, right?
It seems to have been resolved quite. Like they're talking. I seen a video. Actually, there's a video of them when the players were going towards the away fans, and Matt Ritchie's in his ear.
Yeah.
Just kind of like a captain,
100%.
like a big brother type of thing. Yeah. And that's good.
Big little brother.
Of course, yeah.
Richie's going to be in his yagan. Tino's going a little white. He's going worse and shit.
Well, Richie's known for being a little bit kind of the volatile character as well. And I think that was really good. It's what a captain does. And we've said all along since last year, the year before last, really, that we've got that many different captains, not just Lascelles, not just Trippier. I've got Richie's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's one of the training and all that, and he's one of the ones that
Of a field full.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you'd want an experienced player to be doing to a younger player, a young hot-headed player, passionate player. Saying, look here,
It'll not happen again.
the right and wrong. Well, it seems to have been dealt with really well. How is apparently they're on good terms. You know what I mean? They'll talk and afterwards, and you can bet your bottom dollar who's going to be dealing with that. You have Anthony have a word.
Oh, he'll be in his office.
He'll be in the office tomorrow.
Yeah,
I think as well. And I said this to someone.
Every faith he'll deal with it well as well. Sorry, Dan.
No, sorry. Again, when you're winning games of football, right? How can come out after the game and just put it straight to bed? Yeah. And I know we're talking about it here. I know that. But what I mean is it's not really mentioned again. It happens and it's talked about, but that's it. However,
it'll be mentioned in the next press conference.
Probably will be, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling you now, though, if we were fighting a relegation battle, this would have been dug up for weeks and weeks and weeks.
It's a toxic dressing room.
Toxic dressing room. They're against the manager, but whatever. All this bullshit. But because you're winning games of football and everything's rosy, of course it's mentioned because it happened.
Yeah.
But it'll be put to bed soon enough.
It's like when Lascelles belted Diarme in training that time.
Aye.
We'll top the league.
And the rest.
Everyone.
But it was just, I think that the footage of the fan footage,
it was quite damning.
It is. It's just, it's not good. It's
well, even
good.
once he goes away from to take his seat on the bench, Graham Jones even tries to calm him down a bit, and he's still going off it then. So he's completely lost the plot.
And do you know what it is? He hadn't even he was still arguing in the whistle. I got the final whistle. There was literally a second to go. Literally a second. And I'm like, it's not as if he's come on for 10 minutes and there's still a long period, a long period of second half to go and he's took him off then. Then maybe he's going to be pissed off. Yeah. But there was literally one goal kick to take, mate. That's all that was left in the game. Didn't panic. No. It is what it is.
So obviously, if you jump quickly over to the team photo in the dressing room afterwards, it's fine, full of smiles.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's all done and dusted already, man.
I think so. Like I say, I'll have a word with them this week and say, look, don't do that again, please.
100%. Yeah.
And that'll be it.
Just a message it sends to the group, and I know I was like, it's all about togetherness and the group, and you're totally right. They'll address it and they'll move on, and that's fine. If it happens again, then there'll be big problems. But
hopefully, he'll show the maturity as well of that he's apologized for it, because it's a spur of the moment thing, because I thought he did very well in the 45 minutes, really 44 and a half minutes that he played, whatever it was, of coming on. He did a lot well, and I get the disappointment of then being taken off, because it's, you never want to be that substitute that gets substituted, but you've played 45 minutes. You've it's not like you've came on and been pulled off after 10 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever. So I get that disappointment, but you've just got to check your emotions. And like we said, he's young. He'll hopefully learn from that situation and learn to control that temper.
And I think being in the situation now with Newcastle, and we know what it's like in with the team really behind the scenes, I think everybody will probably have a bit of a chat with him.
I think so. Trippier's probably going to have just a quick, say Richie already has. Mm-hmm. A lot of them will have done on the bus back or the flight back or whatever. Just to
you mature older players that are just,
all the cells will be going on. Yeah, I barely play. So you shut your mouth.
Hey, got on again, Jamal.
Just getting on all the time, mate.
We all are.
I'll set you up with that one. Right, let's go through a couple of these questions. First one is from Fish and Rods that says, apart from Haaland and Kane, is there a better striker in the Premier League than Isak? He's the real deal, isn't he?
I'd say Jesus and him, because I love Jesus. I'd say goal scorer, though. I'd have to say Isak's a better goal scorer. I just mean as a player, I think Jesus is incredible. But
Isak could be obviously tons of experience.
Yeah. I think Isak could be. All the Sky commentators and pundits were waxing lyrical about him. Haven't they been saying this guy could be world class?
Yeah.
And he's certainly playing. How can I phrase this way? He's playing above what I thought he would be able to play at this stage. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I know the idea is he'll become this player. That's why you've paid 60 million quid, right? Not to be like Frank, but you paid that money because you want him to become Thierry Henry. You want him to be amazing. But to come back from a bit of a layoff and not actually really be playing many games, playing bit parts here and there, and then all of a sudden to have this stretch of 6-7 games perhaps to just be where he's at.
Could you possibly put Tony's name in there? Because he's had a great season.
I don't think he's as good a player as Isak, but you could certainly. Ollie Watkins having a really good run at them. These good lads in form.
Ollie Watkins has picked up where Callum Wilson left off from the World Cup.
I think again with Isak is like, I know you've got like Tony, but I feel like
better player.
He's actually a much better player, isn't he? You know, like Tony's
a better goal scorer for me. Like,
I think the different types of
Take away
players,
penalties.
aren't they? I think Tony's more of an old-fashioned
and he
style.
missed 2 penalties in his career.
Yeah, it's good going like that.
Who?
It's good going.
Tony.
That's what I mean. If you take away the penalties, as in like goal scoring,
He's still a good
I'd say
goal
that.
scorer.
He's
He's
a
a good
fair,
goal
like,
scorer.
Tony's,
Soz
yeah, he is. Tony's
Soz
I think I agree. Tony's a superb goal scorer. I think all around I'd rather have Isaac, but Tony's.
Yeah, hard.
If we get Tony in the summer, I'll not be upset.
No, different.
I haven't said that.
But again, you're then looking at him
ban coming up for him at some point next.
almost as a replacement for Wilson rather than a replacement for Isaac, aren't you?
It's a hefty ban coming for him, like, isn't it? Hefty ban coming.
But then you look at
You'd imagine so.
You look at Nunes at Liverpool, who cost what, 100 million?
It was expensive, a lot of money.
More than that. Say it scored the same amount of goals in way less games.
he shite him though.
Missed a good chance.
Absolute shite. I missed it. I did.
Good chance.
Like, shocking it.
Good save, like, good chance.
Next question is from Callum Lewis. That says, do you think we should play Isaac and Wilson more often?
No,
as in a partnership.
I know it sounds great, and I know, to be fair, I remember they've done it in a few games. I'm sure it was Fulham at home. He kind of went for it and brung both of them on, and then they've scored a goal. They won the game.
Yeah,
I think, and it worked again. Second half there, we've brung them on. I still feel he'll always start games with that 4-3-3, one up top, 2 wide men, and see how, play that style. And then if we need to, of course, we'll adapt to that. But I don't know. I'd rather just stay with what we know are known for, and then if we rely on both of them, fair enough.
it's a good option to have off the bench.
It is.
If you want to change it, I think bring them both on, because it does seem like they can play together pretty well. It's a good thing to have, but I still think, same as Decker, one up top, a couple of inverted wingers, 3 behind. I think that's just how likes to do it, and you can't say it hasn't worked. We're third in the table.
I thought we missed Maxi though on that left hand side, and I'm not trying to cause an argument between you two before you look at us like that.
I the first half was tough, and there was at times I was saying, these are up for it so much. He might have struggled. However, at the same time as that, I did feel that we needed someone that would physically hold onto the ball and try and carry you up the pitch. It's hard to say. Would he have made any difference the first half? Probably not, because there was a lot of them off on the ball, and maybe he was just being another one that was playing poor. But I'll always say he still has that ability, which I still say any team would miss in moments.
Take a bit of pressure off, doesn't he?
I think so personally, but yeah, it's
But
a shame.
I get used to it.
Spending
time in that oxygen chamber again.
It is a shame that obviously I know.
Is he wearing a watch?
This guy's watch on.
Is he wearing a watch? Hell on.
He's playing cards, well, isn't it? Obviously,
Stick Isaac on the left. Don't need Saint Maximum there, man.
No, you need Isaac through the middle. But it was a shame though to not see him start, because he's back-to-back games now. He's got assists, and he's played very well.
From that first game when he came back, and the team was at Wolves at home when he looked a bit hit and miss. I think he's got better every game.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a pity that's kind of
it really was.
A bit. Hopefully he's not out for too long, but
and let's hope he doesn't have to have a standing start again. Where
I think
he's
that
gotta
the
pick his
beauty is
form up.
you're still winning games without, which is so important as well. You never want it to be where you lose someone. And I mean, we've lost Miggy and we've won 5 in a row. It's brilliant, man. That's what you've got to take so much. What's the word? Positivity and confidence from that. You're winning without good players. You're still winning games.
Concerned with how often he's injured, though, Maxi.
Oh, 100%. 100%, yeah. 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
Said four games and out injured again.
We always talk about Wilson and how he's injury prone. He's not, and Maxi's like
similar.
He has been this season, 100%.
And he's not even playing a full 90. He's always only playing 70 minutes or so now, when he's coming off, and he's still getting hurt. So there was a game. Everyone say he bottled it, didn't fancy it as usual. Someone away from home, and he moved him up front for a bit. Then he took him off because he had a hamstring. He was off at half time. It was only just recently that, I was born because he did a really good to keep the ball and scored.
Went for that header and landed.
That's right, yeah. And then he went off hamstring, blah blah blah. So it's always there or thereabouts, and it's not good. It isn't good because we need him playing. But you can't have him for 3 games and out for 2. That's not good.
It seems recently he's bulked up.
He is. I know what you mean.
He seems to be a bit more kind of prone because when was it? Was it during the lockdowns when he played more than anyone else in one season, hadn't he?
He did.
Yeah, won most minutes for outfield player.
He's lost loads of weight again
because he wasn't training.
He's been fasting. He's lost loads of weight
because he's fasting.
He's not.
No,
nah, he's not.
It's just on a keto diet.
Just fancied it.
I just fancied it.
That's fair enough.
But he only eats obviously during dark hours.
Yeah. Is that why he's gone to like Denmark or Iceland or something?
Scranning 23 hours of the day.
Right.
You could see people might say people won't because they don't think he does it, but obviously he has changed his game, so he's obviously
It's adapted, yeah.
maybe running more. I don't think he's running as much with the ball, like.
No, he's not.
Not compared to the cartoon character we used to see back in the day, where it was just taking everyone on.
A lot to do with teams sitting off for more now. As opposed to us sitting off teams and breaking, it's a lot to do with they're kind of waiting for us to come onto them, by an expression. So,
saucy.
Lovely.
Is it? Right. I'll finish on these two. It's from Daryl. Daryl says, will we finally see the return of the season review DVDs this year?
No.
I want to throw that back. When was the last time anybody bought a DVD?
Absolutely not.
What was the question? Sorry?
I've got during lockdown. I was trying to set up a Plex thing at home where I was like streaming it. So I've got loads of season review DVDs.
But when was the last season review?
The last one, I think
Championship, I bet.
Which championship? Not last time. Because everything's on YouTube now.
Then.
That's what I mean.
I think the last one I owned was the season we finished 5th.
I think the season
11.
after.
What was that? 11, 12.
Mine's the Champions League one. The Bobby Robson flying all the way, flying high. Yeah, that one. Yeah. I couldn't put my hand on it now, but that's one I had.
Surely,
I've definitely got some VHSs somewhere.
But surely no football club makes DVDs.
That's before DVDs for you younger watchers.
The thing is a shame because
he's got it on Betamax and Home Cine.
I love a season review.
Yeah, I didn't have that one. I must admit, I didn't have that.
What's that one?
Season review 2010, 2011.
That was the one I was.
That's the show you couldn't remember last week.
Oh, of course, 5-1. Yeah.
I think the last one was 12-13. The Northern Rock, not Virgin Money home kit.
So it's been a while.
It's more than 10 years.
What's your thoughts on this type of stuff?
No chance. We're getting a DVD though.
Right, so you're gonna have to explain to the listeners.
So this one's Newcastle United v Manchester United 3-0. It was a great game.
So Decker has picked up a DVD in the studio.
It was
January the 4th, 2012.
Manchester United came to the Sports Direct Arena intent on securing.
I forgot about that.
Can you even believe they've put that on the box?
Well,
I'm not joking.
At the time, it's
Prime Ashley. That
relive the full excitement.
Prime Ashley.
These were 4th of January 2012. So these are always the ones that wanted that. I
had the 5-0 when I was a kid.
That was amazing. That was.
Oh, that one was all right with you.
It's 2 more goals in that one.
Do
you think that was a bit much for a DVD? Do you think
100%? Yeah.
Or you don't? There should be a DVD.
No.
Yes,
it was 100% too much. As much as it was a great game, and Kabai's free kick was fantastic, and we did absolutely muller them.
Thing is,
bringing out a DVD for that.
Pardew did really
very
well
Mickey Mouse, isn't it?
He went 2 up front. He played Amiobi and Bar together.
Yeah,
he did.
And as soon as he flicked it on and he scored, and Pardew turned straight round. I think it was the Cargo. I told you, do you want to play it? It was really good.
If someone at the end of the season now, if the club put together an hour and a half or an hour long season review, I'm watching that like everyone's watching.
No, of course you are.
I'd buy it.
I'd buy the DVD.
I'd buy it.
I might volunteer to make it.
No, don't.
It'll be out in 15 years.
Please don't. I think I'd done something like you during lockdown. I bought all those, hence why they're still in the wrappers.
Yeah.
So I just went, no, only like a couple of quid each.
I got loads. I got a load of black and white videos because my plan was to digitize them. So I try and
remind you when you were a kid.
I was looking. Well, the X was 13.
Do you, when he said black and white, did you think black and white has a monochrome?
Absolutely.
No, the black and white. What's called black and white videos? The way went the ASICs.
Black and white was like the magazine thing.
Mox got the blue ones.
The blue and white.
Just the blue ones. Oh yeah, bestie. Blue movies.
Black and white was like the monthly magazine thing.
But black and white video as well.
Black and white video.
They had it was a video magazine that came out like in quarterly, but it was like the I think from the Aston from when it first came back up, so by the time Beardsy and all that, up to I think the Les Ferdinand season, so 95, 96. I think that's where they stopped doing them. But I got loads of them. And I thought I'm going to try and get them all from VHS to MP4, whatever. Really hard to do. I got like loads of kit off Amazon. I borrowed a VHS off me dad.
10 out of 10. I got that on VHS. I don't remember.
That was a promotion.
That was a promotion. Promotion 92, 93. Yeah.
I'm changing slightly, but did any of you used to buy the black and white magazine?
Yeah.
Every month. I loved it.
So just started, bud. Did you just switch off there?
I was she's not well, so she was taking. But anyway, sorry. So black and white magazines.
Brilliant.
I loved them.
I've still got them. You got like a course, like a what do you call it? A box folder.
Oh, you
got one of them where, so when you stood it up on your shelf, it looked like an encyclopedia.
Can you remember the
very posh?
The weekly newspaper, the one that had called United. That was around the same time, maybe slightly later.
No, I don't actually.
Yeah,
it's just a pink. I remember that.
It was
the pink.
The Chronicle. No, it was an official
a
newspaper. No,
No.
It was a newspaper type of thing called United. It came out every week. And it was just like Black and White magazine, but a weekly version.
There's something to do with that font,
well,
at the top. Just I don't know. There's something about it, I just really
the black and gold kind of the piping around it.
Yeah,
really, I love it.
Yeah, loved it.
But there again, now it's like kind of it's proper. No one would buy it now.
Yeah, I know.
You don't need it. YouTube.
That's what I mean. Like, you don't want to buy it.
I went in the loft the other. I don't know what I was going for. I was getting something on golf related.
Ouija board.
I think it was. I was getting some golf clubs down, and I picked up this box anyway and opened it up, and I forgive us.
What plugs?
It wasn't the black and white magazine that went on. It was they were a different shape as well. They were more like a. They were more like a
longer.
Obviously, they were like an A4 book, weren't they?
Chunky.
Black and white, which were lush. But they were more like A5 size.
These are programs, I think.
No. They were a monthly magazine, like a monthly thing. They were like something like My United or United Focus or something like that. And anyway, this one was Mike Ashley's first one. Ashley was on the front when he had just signed.
He's holding the ball.
He's holding the ball. Someone in the comments must know it was a magazine that we did.
Obviously, I thought that was called Black and White.
No, it wasn't. It was
the program was called Black and White for a while, but the program was like square for us.
This was a weird shape. It was like, it's really hard.
I think it might be a match program.
I got
the match program was
that one was actually on the front because I got the one
it was
where
a monthly
we've signed Colaccini and Jonas, and they're on one of them as well.
Right. 2008.
I'm sure it was still Black and White.
Because Bobby Robson, I have got one with Bobby Robson on the front as well. Again, it was just a different shape, and it was the same as Black and White. It was just a different kind of magazine. But this one had Ashley on the front, and I had also had it when Keegan came as well. I used to buy it all the time. I can't remember what it's called. It was something Focus United. I don't know, but someone might know.
Somebody comment in the Gallowgateshots Twitter.
Someone
will. Final question is from Richard Boyd, and we'll go through this one as quick as possible. He says, "I'll start with you, Bestie." It says, "Does anyone else have a lucky Toon shirt? I have to wear the white and green shirt every game and kiss the badge 3 times before each game." That's sports washing. That's sports washing.
Anyone that owns that shirt's been sports washing.
So just to flip it round, and rather than a lucky shirt, any lucky Newcastle United item or object, or any sort of ritual that you do before a game.
I was going for Met Road Haymarket.
Well, that's closest to the ground.
Unless I'm going for a pint, in which case I'll get it for somewhere else.
That's it.
Well, not because a lot of people get off Monument, don't they?
I would get off a Haymarket if I'm going straight to the ground. Like,
no, nothing like that. I did go through a spell where I wouldn't wear a shirt. Like, I'd wear a shirt for a match, but a Newcastle shirt for a match.
Just like everybody else.
Super high. They super day. No, I when we got before one off Portsmouth, when Kasapa had that total nightmare game. Before that game, I was in the club shop. I bought a long sleeve version of that shirt. Wore for the match, got before one, so I didn't wear a Newcastle shirt for the match again until about 3 years ago. And I don't normally. I've just actually started again after Wembley because I'm quite excited.
Do you know what? Well, actually, we'll go through everybody's. Mark, have anything?
Yeah, so I think it's at this point that I have to take blame for Newcastle losing the Carabao Cup final.
Okay, fine.
Because I'd gone through all of the preceding games to that, wearing that shirt under this hoodie.
All right.
And at the final, I didn't.
And have you put it back on since?
No.
Well, then.
Because the look's been broken. Because I stopped wearing it.
Do you got anything? Any sort of match day rituals?
But I do, like, more so when we were shit and we won a couple of games in a row, I was like, oh, right, what did I wear? Right, I've got to wear that one next week as well. It's stupid, really, isn't it? It's.
I've honestly got nothing.
Like rituals and like superstitions. That's what it is.
No, not even when I was a kid. From what I remember, nothing. No.
So I've gone through phases before. On a derby day, I used to wear. So if I mention the Obafemi Martins away shirt, you'll know which one I'm talking about.
Red and blue.
The burgundy one, yeah.
Yeah.
So I had the socks to that, and I used to wear the socks on derby day, right? Obviously with more clothes, not just the socks. But
backfired.
But then we went shit, and they were about 5 sizes too small for us. My toes were popping at the end.
So the first time we lost, did you just not think, oh well, that's that done?
But
I'm not wear them anymore.
But then I used to go through certain turnstiles, go up.
I still go through exactly the same turnstile.
But do you know what it is?
I walk up the stairs the same way.
It's all a load of bollocks because we've been shit for years, and everybody's got these superstitions and things that they do on match day. We've been absolutely honking until this season.
We used to even go to the same. Oh, well, we'll have to go to this pub.
I know
because we won last week.
Do you know what I find, Matt? And this is not. I don't offend anyone for religion here or anything like that. I don't. But you know when like I see players come on and they're giving a 10 out, you know, like the whole works, and they get be 5-0. And I know some of them will say, "No, I'm just hoping everyone's healthy and we all leave the pitch not being injured and stuff like that." But like, you know, a lot of people do praying, wear necklaces and stuff, and they're praying, going, "God, I hope I win the day." You get absolutely humped.
I don't think they're saying, "I hope I win today." I think they're just being thankful for getting
that's
to that
a good
point
way to look at it. That's a
of the
good way to
career.
look at it. I think they're praying they'll score and win. But anyway, but I know I've got no rituals or anything. I used to when I used to play football when I was younger, but certainly going to the game, I've never like I'll wear this coat because I wore last week. I wore one last time and things like that. The only thing I used to do with my dad, to be fair, Daft would swap seats, so we'd sit next to each other, and obviously I'd sit on the left seat, and if we won, I'd sit in that seat that week. And then
we did that for a few weeks, make sure we're sitting in the same seats.
Absolutely ridiculous. Because I used to always have to be sitting there next week, so I get beat again. Because we used to get hammered all the time. Seen It St James, is that the magazine was called?
That rings a bell now.
Seen It
That
St
rings
James.
a bell,
Yeah. And they're definitely the ones I'm seeing on here, to be fair, are all A4, like the black and white.
Yeah, they're like a proper magazine.
But oh god, shit now.
Shit,
just beautiful, isn't it, man? But they definitely changed it where it was more like that. And that sounds silly, but Seen It St James's. So if you want to have a look in honestly, I'm looking. It's just amazing to look back, isn't it, over the years? Look at the black and white, man. Oh god,
we've got loads of black and white things in here somewhere.
I'm sure I've seen them in here before. Yeah,
I've
got that one as well.
Loads.
Seen It St James. That one, I had that one a while ago.
I've got loads of programs in here
as well. Call Court. He's a taxi driver in Vegas now.
Yeah. Right. Thanks everybody for joining us tonight, and thanks for listening to the audio.
He's looking after the loans for the club at the minute as well, isn't he? He's the loan manager.
Oh, like that little Bobby Robson nod.
That was a good nod.
Thanks everybody.
As well, because
if you want to like the video, thank you very much. If you want to become a subscriber, you can do so. It costs you absolutely nothing. If you want to give it a little bit back, it's just $2.99 a month to become a member. You get access to more videos, early access to some videos, and access to the Telegram group.
Just before we go though, what was the question about the reviews?
Columbo.
Someone wants to. Do you know I love Columbo? Like I watch it all the time. It's amazing. One more thing then. Should someone actually wanted to watch these DVDs and then we talk about while we're watching? Is that what someone asked? Oh, sorry, I missed the question. Sorry. Okay, fair enough. Good night, everyone.
There's lots of times he hasn't paid attention tonight, isn't it?